Welcome to my last lectionary study for the gospel coming up for June 19th. It's my last lectionary study on this YouTube channel for the First United Methodist Church in Columbus, Texas. I've been reappointed to Sonora, and I will continue to post YouTube videos, and it'll be on my own channel, Pastor Mark. You should see in this video somewhere a link to that new channel where you can watch this video and several other videos that I've begun to transfer over. Our gospel reading for this Sunday, the 19th of June, 2022, comes from Luke chapter 8, 26 through 39. So Jesus has been preaching, Jesus has been teaching, Jesus has been healing. And while he's surrounded by a crowd who is loving on him and excited and wanting to be healed and fed and learn, there's a growing outer circle that's seeing Jesus as a troublemaker, that realizes that Jesus can be perceived by Rome as a threat and therefore bring the Roman legions in on that community. Leaders are seeing that Jesus' teaching can become a threat to their authority to interpret Scripture the way they've been taught and the way that makes sense for them. And it's in this outer circle where the tension begins to grow that Jesus' family understands that if Jesus continues to do this, he's going to get killed. And they're worried that he's become a fanatic, that he's become crazy. And so they try to enter into the house, to pull Jesus away, take him aside, let things calm down, maybe calm him down, get some help for him if that's what's needed. They actually want the best for Jesus. But when Jesus hears that his mother and his brothers and his sister are looking for him, he says, "Who is my mother? Who is my brother? Who is my sister?" Only those who follow God. But in prayer, Jesus perceives it's time to leave the Galilean shore, to sail across the Sea of Tiberias, the Sea of Galilee, and go over to the opposite shore, which is controlled by the Gentiles. And so he goes to be in the country of the Gerasenes. And we know that this is a Gentile country because they raise pigs. So that gives you an indication that you're no longer in Jewish territory. You're in Gentile territory. And they land there, and in Gentile territory, well, they're Jewish, and so they're not really that much more accepted, except they're safer there than where they were. And so they go to the outskirts, to the places of the tombs. The places of the tombs are the places of the unclean, or where the lepers live, those who are possessed, those who are seen as a danger to society. And so there he encounters a man in chains. It's their equivalent of a lunatic asylum. Chain him up in the tombs. And when Jesus appears there, the demons within the man says, "Son of God, get away from us. We don't want anything to do with you." Jesus represents the power and authority of God to break the hold of evil wherever it is present. And Jesus ends up asking them to name themselves, which they say, "We are legion." used in just about every spiritual horror movie afterwards. We are legion. We are many. In some ways beyond count. And they say, don't send us back to the abyss. And Jesus is merciful. And he drives them and sends them into the pigs. Takes a whole herd to accommodate all that are there. But driven mad, the pigs run off the cliff. They die, and in the end, because of the demonic possession which drove the pigs crazy, the demons end up where they didn't want to go to start with. The people in the town hear about this. One, Jesus seems to be healing somebody that nobody could heal. But two, the town was probably known for it raising pigs. And suddenly all their pigs jump off a cliff. This is not good for their economy. And they're afraid of Jesus. And Jesus goes over, and Jesus doesn't tell the man, come and be my disciple. He tells the man, go and be my apostle. Be someone sent to proclaim the miracle that God has done in your life. He represents the first of the Gentile apostles. Because he's Gentile, maybe that is one of the reasons Jesus didn't ask him to be a disciple. Because a disciple is one who learns the correct way to interpret God's will through God's law and the story of God's people. God's law and God's people are not the story that the Gentile has heard or knows. It makes no sense to be a disciple. But he has experienced the presence of God's redeeming power for all of creation, the power to break the force of evil in this world. And he is to go and proclaim that this person, this man, Jesus of Nazareth, this Jew, has brought the power of God on earth. And we need to listen to him. We need to hear what he has to say, because he doesn't speak for the Jewish people. He speaks for God, the God of us all. This brings up another interesting point, especially in Luke, and it occurs two other places, where even those who are Jewish, who have gathered around Jesus, Jesus says, don't become my disciple, but rather live a redeemed life. Jesus has come to restore the relationship of all of creation with God. Some are called to understand the nature of that restoration and be disciples. Some have experienced the power and wonder of that restoration and are sent to be witnesses to that restoration. All of us are called into a restored relationship with God, made possible through God's love for us, that forgives us and redeems us. For remember, to have faith in Jesus is to have faith in the love of God incarnate. For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son. God is love. Jesus is that love incarnate. To have faith in that love, to have faith in the power of that forgiveness of love and that desire for restoration. means that that restoration through that gift of love is available to all of humanity, not based on doctrine or right understanding, not even based on right actions, but based on a right heart and a right relationship with your Creator. That right relationship and that right heart with the Creator will begin to reorient how you think about the world, how you approach the world, and then how you act in the world. Because God's love has been revealed perfectly to us in Jesus Christ. The demons have no more control over us. Go and witness to what God has done in your life.